Today, guys, we are checking out two very high-end smart vacuums from Dreame. Last year, they released the L20 Ultra, which was hands down the best smart vacuum of last year, in my opinion. But they recently released the X30 Ultra with a bunch of new features. Now, there's a price difference. It might be worth it, it might not. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the differences so you can make your decision. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, I do want to disclose that Dreame did send both of these out to me so I can honestly review them for you guys. And honestly, I think you can't go wrong with either one. Ultimately, it's going to come down to price and the features that you specifically want. There are some key differences, and those are the ones that we're going to be talking about today. And if I'll talk about them, it's most likely that in both of them. Now, first off, the L20 has 7,000 pascals of suction, comparing that to the X30, which has 8,300. Now, yes, that's 1,300 difference. I'm not quite sure the science of it, but in reality, I think you're not going to see a difference in your home. Now, if you put it to a test, in a scientific test, yes, you might see a difference, but in the day-to-day real life situation, I don't think you're going to see a difference. It's going to pick up all the dust and dirt in your home, no matter if it's 7,000 or 8,300 pascals. And they both have a mopping feature, which is awesome. So if you have hard floors, it can mop and vacuum at the same time. And if it comes across a rug or carpet, it's going to lift up the mopping head 10.5 millimeters so it doesn't get your carpets and rugs wet. Both these also can leave behind their mopping heads, which is one of the only ones in the industry that can do that. Both of these can do that. It might not be extremely useful because if you're going to do that, most of the time your mopping heads are going to be dry anyways when you're going to vacuum ahead of time. But say, for instance, you did get your mopping heads wet for a spot clean or something, and then you need to do a vacuum. You don't want to have those wet mopping heads on your carpet, even though they'll lift up. If you have high pile or medium pile carpets, you can just leave behind those mopping pads. And that leads into the first major difference between the two, and that is the Mop Extend, where it's going to extend the right hand mop so it can get corners and baseboards a lot easier. They both have that feature, but in the X30 they have the Mop Extend Robo Swing. So what that's going to do is when it detects low overhang areas like the bottom of a cabinet, a refrigerator, sofa, maybe a door frame, it's actually going to stop and twist the robot so the mopping head can actually go under there. That is not in the L20, that's only in the new one. So if that's a feature that you want, you have to get the X30, and it's pretty cool if you want to be able to mop where no other vacuum can go. And then both vacuums obviously will go back to the base station when it's done, and it will self-clean. It will get rid of the dust out of the dustbin, suck it into the onboard dustbin, which they're both around the same size, but the real difference when it goes back is when it cleans the mopping heads. In the L20, it's just going to clean it with clean water, but with the X30, it's going to clean it with hot water at 140 degrees, or about 60 degrees Celsius. That's going to get a lot of the grime and the gunky stuff. As it heats up, it's just going to melt a lot easier than using the normal room temperature water. So that's a huge factor if it's picking up grease and grime all the time if you have dirty floors like that. And then both of these have hot air drying, so that is just very similar. You definitely want hot air drying so it doesn't start stinking and growing by bacteria. Now, when it comes to the washboard that the mopping heads are being cleaned in, on the old L20, that washing board can be removed and cleaned whenever it gets dirty. The new X30 has a self-cleaning washboard. Actually has these scrapers that turn around, powered by the robot being cleaned, but it's not 100%. You will still have to clean out underneath the washboard. It doesn't get every single spot, but it definitely should cut down how often that you all need to do it. And nice thing about the new base station in the X30, I would say it's about a third smaller. I would call it a medium-sized base station or Omni station, where the L20 is definitely a very large base station. It doesn't have storage for the cleaning brush, but hey, that's okay. I can store that elsewhere. Now, they both have soap dispensers. In the L20, you have to use the bottles that you buy from Dreame, but in the new X30, you can have your own solution. So if you have something that you like to use on your hard floors, you can definitely pour in your own solution and use it. And one last thing about these base stations, they both can be hooked up to a water hookup kit if you can find the kits for these particular base stations. I have not seen them available in the United States, only overseas and in videos, but the hardware, if you look at the hardware that comes with it, they are definitely fixed, ready to go to accept the kit if you can find the kit for your particular vacuum. So it's really nice that Dreame has that feature. Hopefully they'll bring these water auto refill and draining kits to the United States, but I just haven't seen them. Either way, both of these can do it. And now for the robot itself, like I mentioned earlier, when it comes to suction, the L20 is at 7,000 pascals, the X30 is 8,300, but in real life, you're not going to see much of a difference. But the overall height of the L20 is about 6 millimeters higher than the X30. The overall diameter are exactly the same, so it's just a difference in height. So if you need something that's a little bit shorter, the X30 is about 6 millimeters shorter, so it can go places where the L20 can't, maybe like under a baseboard, underneath a cabinet. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit shorter and 6 millimeters could help you, then definitely get the X30. Both these have obstacle avoidance, which I think is a huge factor, and they both did good in detecting things and avoiding them. I wouldn't say either one did great, but both of these did satisfactory in most of my testing. Both of these come with the same roller brush at the time of this recording, but I think Dreame does plan to have the X30 come with the new anti-tangle roller brush that I saw at CES. It's pretty awesome, but even if it doesn't, you can buy this anti-hair rolling brush for either one of these for a few more dollars. I highly recommend this. I saw it at CES and it definitely cuts up hair and strings so you don't have to deal with them and they just get sucked up into the vacuum. And like I said, there's a lot of things that both these have. They both have cameras, they both have lights that turn on, lots of great features and bells and whistles that both of these have. So definitely check out the apps. Definitely a lot of settings in both of these, and I highly recommend both of these. It really comes down to price, and if there's any specific features that you want in the X30, obviously you're going to have to spend a little bit more to get those new features. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. Definitely hit me up in the comment section below if there's something I happen to miss. I can answer for you guys. I truly appreciate your love and support. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.